So I've had this computer now for 7 years. It's a MacBook Pro 2011 edition, and it's finally got a problem. So I'll just log in. So I'm going to log in. The bar is still moving, but it's just incredibly slow. Here, let's let it keep going. Here it goes, it's about to boot the desktop. So there you go. People normally say that Macs are horrifically expensive. Now, that Mac I bought in 2011 for about $2,200. It's lasted 7 years. If you amortize that money over that time, you're basically looking at about $315-ish per year. Now, I could buy a cheaper computer. Let's say I spend, I don't know, $600-700 on a computer. That might only last me, let's say, 2 years before I have to replace it, at which point it's actually worked out about the same. Now, if it's a higher end Windows computer, let's say for instance it's a Microsoft Surface or something like that, technically I normally get about 2 years out of those, and those are getting close to $2,000. So now you're looking at $1,000 a year, not $300 a year. The whole argument that Macs are horrifically expensive, like, no, it's not the case. It's very much, you know, they're about the same, if not sometimes better. So, yeah, I don't begrudge that this machine finally blew up. I mean, you know, even as recently as last week, I was still doing Final Cut Pro on it. And, you know, that's not a small task. Like, these vlogs were all done on that Mac. You know, there's another one on the table behind me over here. That is my work computer. Yeah, so I need that computer to stay up at all costs. But let me show you something else for a second. So, for those that don't know, I'm in the process of moving. Everything's being moved around. This is the desk that I use upstairs. And I have this really old compact. This is a CQ56 Presario. Now, when I got this, I think it was a Windows 7. Yes, it is. It was a Windows 7 computer. I've updated it to Windows 10. It's actually on the latest version right now. So that's what the spring update edition. But you know, it's horribly underpowered for what its original purpose was. And I actually bootstrapped a company using this laptop. It cost me about $400. That company was also started in, what, 2010, 2011? So this is an 8-year-old computer. It basically has one purpose now, which is to run QuickBooks. And it does that very, very badly. But when I consider how much this computer costs per year, it's actually very, very good. You know, it doesn't have to do a lot. It just has to be fired up for a couple of minutes every month, and that's it. And then here we have the Mac Mini. Now, this is used as a server within the house, and it has very, very few things that it has to do other than just look after some files. Sometimes I will run Xcode bots on it and stuff like that to do recompiles of software that I'm building. But, you know, again, outside of that, it has a purpose. I don't let the kids anywhere near it. As you can see, I actually run it headless. You know, there is a monitor attached to it, but there's nothing else. There's no keyboards or mice or anything like that attached to it. Nobody can use it as a computer. Whoops. See, this one's so light. Trying to open this up, you know what, I'm just going to close that. So, you know, that computer as well, I think that's a 2013 computer. So it's coming on for 5 years old. And again, the cost of ownership, that was a $1,000 server. And so, you know, already it's down to $200 a year when you think that that's over 5 years. There is probably another 3, maybe 4 years in that computer, at which point, you know, it will be down to around $100. So again, the Apple computer won out. You know, it's not done as well as this one, which is already in the $50 a year mark, but it has done me very, very well. I can't complain when, you know, I'm getting that amount of mileage out of hardware. if I'm getting that kind of mileage out of the hardware that's in the office behind me, I can't complain at the premium that I pay for that hardware, because it does pay for itself very, very well. It lasts a long time. Now, granted, I don't hammer my machines as much as some people will, because some people might have one laptop and they use it to do everything. And I used to be like that, but then what happened was I would find that certain critical pieces would fail very, very fast, and as a contractor, that would screw me up. By having a dedicated accounting computer that is used for nothing else, I effectively, I can lose my workstations, I can lose my server, I can lose everything else. I can still get an invoice out. I don't have to worry about that computer. Same thing with my server. If the server goes down, it's not going to affect my workstation or my accounts. If my workstation goes down, well, I've still got my server and my accounts. If my accounts go down, well, okay, fine. I have to then go and restore it to a different computer. But again, by having multiple computers and keeping them going for as long as possible, I mitigate the risk. And that really is, I guess, the moral of the story here. Have two computers at least, and split up what the purposes of each one are, and what they do and what they don't do, so that way you're basically hedging your bets against failure. So what will now happen, once I've got a little bit of money saved up, the computer that I currently use for work will become my backup computer, so I can do vlogging and all that stuff, like do Final Cut Pro and whatnot on that computer. And the new computer will become my primary workstation, which I use for working. And by doing it that way, like, I again have a backup. If something goes horribly wrong, I have a machine I can go to straight away. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. If you like these vlogs, thumbs up. If you don't like it, thumbs down. If you want to see more, please hit subscribe, and speak to you soon. Bye.